Gentlelady yields back the balance of her time. Gentleman from Tennessee reserves the balance of his time. Gentleman from Virginia.
I continue to reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to reflect on why we're here. Mr. Lewis and I brought this resolution because it's the 50th anniversary of SNCC. There were other civil rights organizations as well. The NAACP, there was the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, there was CORE, there was SNCC. SNCC came about at a time when this country was ripe for change and helped really light the fire that ignited a nation to see the injustices and bring about the change that came about in the 60s. When you think about what's happened in 50 years, that we're here on the floor of the House of Representatives, Mr. Speaker, honoring the founding of SNCC, an organization when it was founded and it was exercising its purposes, it was sneered and disdained by most people in America because they were upsetting America. They were bringing about change that people didn't understand and people resisted. And there was a lot of people that thought that the people involved in these organizations should be jailed. They were un-American. They were communists. They were socialists. That same rhetoric that you sometimes hear today, you heard 50 years ago about these organizations that help make America the more perfect union it is and to bring about the liberties that we really should enjoy, that Jefferson wrote about, but that were words on paper, not in practice. The people that were involved in SNCC and these civil rights organizations should be considered heroes and are heroes because they made America what it should be, the land of opportunity and justice and equality and liberty and giving all people rights, which we didn't have. We had Jim Crow laws that were enforced by this nation's laws, that Brown versus Board of Education changed, but before that we had separate but equal. Plessy versus Ferguson, and it took the work of Thurgood Marshall and others to overturn that in the courts and later to overturn it in these halls of this Congress in 1965 and 1964 with civil rights laws. Civil rights laws that unfortunately caused the Democrats to lose their majorities and to lose their hold on the South because they did what was right for this country and what that flag stands for and what this nation stands for. So we're here today to honor the people and the organizations that at one time were sneered and disdained. But now we understand they were right. And sometimes you have to look back in history to understand who the heroes are and the direction this country goes in and where it should be. And so I respect Mr. Lewis. He was in the front line. He mentioned being arrested 24 times. He was beaten. He was hit. He was in the face of injustice in the picture of law and order and stood up to it with a moral law that was higher than the law of the state of Alabama, and he made that law change. And so it's fitting, appropriate, and proper that we honor those heroes and the anniversary of that organization and that this United States Congress passed this resolution. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves the balance of his time. Gentleman from Virginia.
Mr. Speaker, sometime we have resolutions of commending